Have you ever had that one conversation completely change the trajectory of your day? You wake up peaceful, grounded. You're thinking, oh, I'm doing all the work. I'm doing all the healing. I'm journaling. I'm meditating. I'm present. I'm doing great. And you're just like, oh, yeah, I'm going for it. I'm just perfect. And then you meet somebody, like it doesn't even have to be a family member. It could be somebody else that you connect with on whatever level, spiritual, whatever level, and you have this conversation and you're kind of doing this dance in your mind of, oh, I wonder where this is going to kind of go. And it's good and it's interesting. And then that person says something and it gets you off your track. And it's almost like a little bit of a trigger, or it questions every single thing that you've been doing up to that point. I had that happen to me today. I was talking to a very interesting lady, and some of the things came up in the conversation and it didn't quite track. And then I started questioning and I started doubting myself. And I was thinking, I thought I'd healed this. Oh, I thought I'd gotten over that part. Started questioning. Well, welcome back to the Lightkeeper's Path, because today I want to talk about something that doesn't get discussed enough. Those moments when we feel like our healing has completely unraveled because of one conversation. What if I told you you haven't gone backwards? You haven't failed. You haven't lost your healing. Maybe you simply discovered another layer. Oh, you got triggered. We mistake activation as failure, but that's not it at all. Most of us believe healing should look like this. I'm healed. I'm done. I've never feel that way again. Healing doesn't work that way. It unfolds in layers, like the ocean. You know, when you go and you see the sea and it goes in and it comes back and it goes in and it comes back. I was looking at the sea today and I was noticing that before I had this one conversation that it didn't really completely trigger me, but what it did was it questioned some of my my where I think I'm going. And I had to take a step back and I had to take a deep breath. And I think you know what I'm talking about. It's when somebody's and their comments don't track, because I actually questioned some of those comments and it didn't quite track. And then I left and I thought, wow, that was interesting. And the conversation doesn't create the wound, if that makes any sense. This hasn't been one of the biggest lessons I've learned. Someone else's words or their pain or how they're interpreting doesn't reflect on me. It's just their interpretation. It's how they're seeing the world. They illuminate something that has quietly been waiting for our attention. And sometimes that can feel uncomfortable, but it also can be one of our greatest teachers. So when I saw myself looking at the ocean and the tide coming in and the tide going out, when the tide goes out, it doesn't create the rocks, it reveals them. And our healing is much the same way. Sometimes life's conversations are like the changing tides. It simply expose what was already beneath the surface, not to shame us, but to invite us into deeper healing. And your nervous system is always trying to protect you. Sometimes our body reacts before our mind even understands why. Someone says something and suddenly we feel defensive, anxious, angry, ashamed, rejected, or unseen. Yes, unseen. This conversation, it's still sticking with me. I had it about an hour ago, and it's still sticking with me because I asked about something and the response was one way. And then I responded a certain way, and then that person agreed with me. And she said, oh, I thought, well, this is kind of interesting. It's not really tracking. You either feel this way, it's either yes or no. It's not maybe. Oh, I'm going to jump in this side. If you've been through this, you know what I'm talking about. Our first thought is often, what's wrong with me? Am I misinterpreting this? So your curiosity is much more powerful than judgment. And that's where I went. I started getting curious. I started asking questions like, Why isn't this tracking? Why am I now doubting myself when I found my internal light? Why, and where I'm going? Why am I doubting myself? And it's just that person's perspective. Healing is never going to be not triggered. It's part of the healing process. And that's part of our path here. This may be one of the biggest myths. Healing doesn't mean nothing affects you anymore. It just means you recognize what's happening sooner. You recover more quickly. You respond with compassion instead of shame. That is a really, really big one. And you no longer make your reaction mean you failed. So I want to ask you, I want to leave you with a few questions so you can ponder. What conversation are you still replaying, or are you replaying one? And is there an emotion that keeps surfacing with that? And what belief was touched? What younger version of you needed something at that moment? And how can I meet myself with compassion today? These are all things to ponder. Maybe today you aren't broken. Maybe you haven't gone backwards. Maybe that difficult conversation wasn't proof that your healing disappeared. Maybe it simply revealed another place within you that is ready to receive your love. Healing isn't about becoming someone who is never affected by life. It's about learning to move through life's waves with greater awareness, the ebb and the flow, and trust, greater trust. Because healing is just like the ocean and its ebb and flow. And every wave that comes ashore offers another opportunity to heal and to approach it differently. So I leave that with you today, light keepers. Thank you for being with me. And if you're getting triggered on your healing process and your healing journey, maybe just go within, close your eyes, put your hand on your heart and say, why was I triggered by that one comment that somebody said to me? Make it a beautiful day, light keepers. I'm so glad you're here.